I did a 2-day transformative workshop at the University of Alberta for 24 graduate students. And I took them through, really, it was this whole repositioning of the empathetic approach. Now, many of them were saying, the equivalent of, Don, help me to sell myself better. And the repositioning that I did is, so who are you looking to help? How are you uniquely able to help? What fulfills you? What sort of work do you want to do? And as we worked through the 2 days, that was a real eye opener for them. And many of them, the penny dropped. Oh, that's what I'm trying to do. It's not just getting a job. A job's just the container, right? Yeah. So that was an interesting thing to put together. Students don't have a lot of money in their pocket, and putting on a 2-day workshop. Oh, and by the way, I'm coaching them a little bit beyond that as well. This activity attracts costs. So I went out and I raised a grant for them, ran it through the University of Alberta. So they were able to come in and take part in this at zero cost to them.
Which shows a huge amount of empathy for the student's situation.
Well,
that's part of it.
Yes. And you look at, I'm absolutely blown away by some of the people in the room. One of the participants, young woman, an artificial intelligence ethicist. Yeah. And today, she is in an interview for a position. It's an interesting interface between the academic world and the industry world. 85% of it is on the industry side at Northeastern University. She is absolutely the person for this. But you would not be surprised to learn that imposter syndrome was a big impediment for her. So after the end of the second day of the workshop, she stayed behind, and we spent about an hour together kind of coaching her on how do you approach this, what I hope for her is a very positive, life-changing event, going through an interview and hearing the phone ring with we'd like to make you an offer.
Well, I hope that does happen for her, and in a way that works out best for her, because that's been, imposter syndrome is, as you know, something I've struggled with and do struggle with. And, even to get that call and say, welcome, you have a job, you still have to have enough self-empathy to be able to say, yes, and I deserve that job. Yes, and I've done all the work, and I can make this happen because I'm not an imposter. I'm real deal. So it's a real thing.
Well, we're all authentic. And the thing about imposter syndrome is, if you look at Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan's work on the gap and the gain, where you have very high achieving people, and by the way, imposter syndrome was first described in high performing women in the early 70s, is the higher the performance, the more that people are aware of what they don't know.
Yes.
They know a lot, but they're now aware of what they don't know. And you start to compare yourself or measure yourself against that, the things that you don't have, the things that you don't know, the things that haven't happened, probably might not happen. And therefore, you're always in a losing state. You're always insufficient, as opposed to, if you look at how far you've come and everything that you've achieved, then you're in a winning state. And this is what Sullivan and Hardy are talking about. So imposter syndrome really is driven by how aware you are of how big the world is. Yeah. And therefore, having imposter syndrome is actually a very strong indicator of how powerful you really are, but you just don't realize it. So, yes, it can be paralytic. It can be horrible, and all of us have suffered it. But turn it from negative into a positive. Yeah, it's there. And how do you do that? How do you use that as a motivator rather than a demotivator? Because really, it's It's the fear that comes from it.
Yes.
But if you look at it as an indicator of you're aware of so much that can be done and that you're powerful, then it becomes an empowering or an enabling force. But that's still hard because it's inside, it's in your head, it's the thing that drives you crazy.
Yes, and it's there all the time.